Got one chair.
He's not in the bathroom. He's in the bedroom laying down.
Oh, okay.
You looked at me like,
right here.
he looked at me like, what are you saying?
Peace. Did you put it on public?
Oh, it's going right now?
I think it's private though. We might have forgot to do public.
Oh, it is?
Let me see if a viewer come in. I think it is private.
Watch live now. There it is.
Oh, it is on there. Okay.
It is on.
It's on there, guys?
Yeah.
I just did.
My phone.
Yep, there you go.
It's on there? Okay.
You ain't got to watch it now. You own it. Peace, family. We had so many people come through today, so we wanted to just share the love. We got some family from London. And this goddess right here, she's been to Tanzania, Zimbabwe. Where else, goddess?
Egypt, Sudan.
Egypt, Zambia, Namibia, Botswana, Thailand. Dat vind ik nog leuk voor mij.
Yeah, so that's the vibration of encouragement for travel.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got family from Kansas City.
Kansas City, Missouri. Thank you.
Yeah. Show me the dumb state.
Yeah.
Trina, aka Twinkie.
Is in the building.
Yeah.
Is in the building.
And Twinkie can help to inspire you, get into the medical field, that type of vibration.
Absolutely. Or whatever it is you want to get into.
The Oracle Temple is in the building.
Absolutely.
And then also, too, we have her beautiful husband from Africa,
Sydney.
/ London, now United States.
But he's in chill mode at the moment.
Yes, chill.
Then we got Brother Taynov walking in through.
Peace. As y'all see, peace. We got the God over here.
You're just going to hear his voice.
Yeah, I guess you're just going to hear him. He just like, hey, I'm...
With his fresh cut, but he doesn't want to show it.
Okay. Okay. You talk
Right,
too.
there you go. All right.
And then we also got the seeds in here too. Some powerful seeds. I don't know if y'all want to put a little shout out in here. Yeah. Okay. You know, the babies ain't shy now.
Peace.
Offer some wisdom, God. What you do?
Oh, what do I do? Sometimes I do music.
Word.
Okay. Help my dad out.
Okay. You do the best then.
And the music tip.
Mm-hmm. You know what you do?
Yeah. Get the God.
He's also a straight A student, let me add.
Word.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
it's effortless for him to take some information in and synthesize it, figure out what needs to be done.
Word.
Okay, makes it easy. Okay.
Peace, I'm Desmond, and I'm working on becoming a chef.
Everybody has a chef.
Yeah, a little strong.
Exactly.
Okay, strong.
You just finished coming for me. Like that.
We do it every day. That's what you do. That's exactly what you do.
Called Superstar.com. You guys see it here.
Okay, you want to say something, God?
He's about
Peace.
to do
Divine Little Born. I do everything.
Okay. You do it.
Music. I used to be a chef. I do construction. I detail cars. Just everything.
Jack all trades.
Got my hands in everything.
I see. You over there inspiring these seeds.
Shout out to Chapel Hill.
Okay.
Hill.
Okay. Shout out
That's
to
right.
Chapel Hill.
Hill is in the
That's
There's a lot
building.
of Tar Heel fans out there that's watching.
Oh yeah.
I know we coming this season.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
I'm here in
Sports.
North Carolina kicking
God is the greatest.
God is almighty.
Oh, God is
Okay, that's
almighty.
almighty.
If I had to say anything to anybody, say, or commonly known to those, it is opportunity to touch and be touched by is Tena. Life never stands still, so we keeping it moving, making frequent improvements. I'm a teacher and a student. Peace.
Peace. And this how the guy said.
Put me on blast.
Yeah.
I'm a Washington more for the record.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm a student of Chief Alim. And, I'm from the South.
From the dirty dirt.
Okay.
Choctaw.
Choctaw from the dirty
Choctaw in the
dirt.
house, yes.
Choctaw.
Sure live.
It's only dirty because we farming. Mm-hmm. Farming.
And hey, I just also wanted to take a moment to give a shout out to my group, Oracle. I love y'all. It's not my group, but it's our group. I love y'all. And Jeff, Kels, the crew, Leslie, William,
crew.
mad love. All right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna go on over here and share the screen. So you're gonna hear the voices now. We're gonna be going in. All right.
When you come to a place like this and you have random requests, like you wouldn't happen to have just a brand new out of the ground diamond with you. That's for sure. Yeah, you got random requests, they got it.
Yeah.
You have
This is the
you have
guys
to have orange juice versus squeeze.
is
Not concentrate
author
with
of the Mind Your Business. It's
Literally.
a sigil making book. Literally mind your business.
Right.
It teaches you how to make sigils, and you know how to do it on your own, from your own mind.
Yes. A lot of them symbols look like they was channeled, you know. Definitely, they can be used as Reiki symbols as well, healing symbols.
That's right.
All right, so we're gonna get into today's lesson. Astrologically, we're dealing with astro-theology today. And so we see that the fish hook is right up in the sky. We see Scorpius, we see Pisces, and of course, Jesus' symbol is that of the fish, right? In which that we know that Matthew 4:19, and Jesus was walking beside the Sea of Galilee, and he saw two brothers, Simon called Peter and his brother Andrew. They was casting out a net into the sea, for they was fishermen. Come follow me, Jesus said, and I will make you fishermen of men. And at once they left their nets and followed him. So that right there goes to show you that the net is talking about the sky itself, the night sky in particular. Nancy sped her or his web, in which that combines and unite and put everything together as far as bringing the planets, the asteroids, the comets, the meteorites, the moons, the suns, everything is all connected. Of course, nowadays in quantum physics, we refer to the net as string theory, all right, in quantum physics. But right here, the science is that Jesus is the fish. So we know that all good Christians have on the back of their car the Vesica Piscean sign, which is the fish, which is ichthys within Greek, which means the fish. So, and it tells you that Simon Peter, which is one person, Simon Peter, and then of course, his brother Andrew symbolizes the two fish, which are Pisces, all right, which is tied together by a line, but yet they might go in the opposite direction. So it's telling us right there, the metaphysics. And then you get right here to the religious hats, which is called the Mitra, which is the hat of the Babylonian priests, all the way to the Catholic Catholicism, the Catholic Church. The Pope wears the fish cap, right, which is the priest of the ancient Dagon, the fish worship, which Dagon, of course, is Dogon. All right, so the Dagons were the Dogon, ancient Dogons, and the Dogons were the ancient Egyptians or Kemites or Temerians. And so the fish that they was worshiping is actually talking about the spermatozoa in one sense, but yet also the fish is symbolic to Pisces, all right, astrologically, all right? So we know that Jesus was supposedly born during the time of the end of Aries, the end of Aries age, and then the beginning of what? The Piscean age. So hence the reason why the Pope wears the Piscean cap, or the Mithra hat, as they call it, from Babylon. All right, we know that the Babylonians actually was Nimrod, was descendants of Nimrod biblically. And of course, Nimrod was the grandson of Cush. All right, and of course, Cush is the Nubian / Ethiopian / Sudanese Kenyan family line. We are all Cushites, essentially. So this is also what this is showing. So he says right here, there's something very fishy in the Western religion. And it is because the Pope is wearing the hat of Dagon or Dogon, claiming to be the universal church. That's what Catholicism or the Catholic Church means. Catholic means universal. All right, so this is what they're claiming. So Jesus goes on Matthew 12:40. He says, Jesus replied, a wicked and adulterous nation demands a sign, but none will give it except a sign of the prophet Jonah. For just as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish, so the Son of Man will be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The men of Nineveh was stand at the judgment with this generation and condemned it. But they repented at the preaching of Jonah, and now one greater than Jonah is here. So what makes Jesus greater than Jonah is the fact is that the well is right here in the sky. It's called Cetus. And guess what? It sits directly above Pisces. Coincidence? Nah. So the astrological or astro-theological sign or zodiacal sign or constellational sign, I should say, is Cetus, and it sits directly above Pisces. So as the sun is coming through Pisces, it also goes inside of the belly of Cetus for 3 days and 3 nights, astrologically. So this is also a science. All right, just like the sperm inside of man, it takes 3 days for the sperm to travels up from the prostate gland up the spinal column or cerebral fluid. So from prostatic fluid to cerebral fluid, spinal fluid to cerebral fluid inside the brain, it takes 3 days. And then for it to travel back down, it takes 3 nights symbolically. So 3 days, 3 nights symbolic to the same time that it takes for Cetus, for the sun inside of the belly of Cetus. All right, and of course, right here, we know that the border constellation is Aquarius, Aries, all right. It says Fornax, Idurnus, Pisces, Sculpture, and Taurus. All of those is right in the same vicinity. All right. And of course, it represents the well that swallowed Jonah in the Old Testament. All right. So Jesus said that he would be just like Jonah. So once again, when the sun comes into the belly of Jonah, it's talking about was around 2,000 years ago, as we see right here, which was around that time of when the sun made that loop into the constellation of wells, as we just seen. There it is. So now we see the sun right here on this coming from out of Pisces. You go to the sun coming from out of Pisces down into Cetus, as you see here. That's what this is showing you. All right, going into from Cetus, going into the sign of Pisces. All right, so this is what we mean by astrological or astro-theological sciences. And so they won't tell you this information for whatever reason. For you won't. This is as above, and then of course you have to know as below, as within, so without. This is the perfect science of what is taking place here. All right. We thinking of a well such as this, as if a man actually was inside of the belly of a well, an actual well for 3 days, instead of seeing it as an astrological event in which that actually took place. All right. So the symbolic meaning, all right, on Iki, which is Iki, which is Luna, Sigma, or Ichthys, is a or acrostic for, as we see here, Azul, Caresos, or Theos, Eos or Salta, contemporary with Crowan, all right, which is basically translated to English as Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the Savior. So this is why they use the symbol as the fish on the back of their card, you know what I'm saying, for all good Christians that have the fish. All right, they put it on the back. But see, we now know where it really comes from. The real science is right here. We got the compass and square with the G in the center, which symbolizes God, or geometry within Freemasonry, which is nothing more than Jesus, because Jesus, the seventh letter made, as we know, which symbolizes God. And so Jesus symbolizes that same God personified, but is inside of the vesica Piscean, which is nothing more than a vaginal canal. So Masons actually are worshiping through the compass and square the vagina of the woman. All of that is correlated right there. And that's why it's the symbol of the fish. All right. So Christianity, etymology, we see an ancient Egyptian version, which dates back to 2600 BC. So that's really is like almost, that's more than 4,000, 46, or more than 4,600 years ago. So we have the anointed or the oil rubbed, all right, which is the Iraq phallus of Osar, who was dead. The mummy, he was called Jah, which is Yah, all right, which of course becomes Jehovah. And of course, Osiris, Osiru, he was Christian or resurrected. So we see right here, Set has the hands outreach until she was transformed into the Kit, Isis or Set. Her other name was Stella Maris or Mary, which becomes the Mary from the biblical text, and also from the fact of the Catholic Church saying that Mother Mary is the mother or the Queen of Heaven. All right. Hence the reason why you have to have your prayer beads and you chant Hail Mary, Hail Mary, Hail Mary whenever you do something wrong in the Catholic Church. Then you have her counterpart, which is Nebhet, all right, a Nephthys, which also symbolizes the two Marys, as they say biblically, who came to Jesus as he was hanging on the cross. So she becomes Mary the mother, Mary Magdalene. All of this is being played by the Stellar Marys. You see, this is what this is all talking about here, right? So you have Jesus and the two Marys, the Roman Virgin, 300 AD. So which one came, you know what I'm saying? It's like the chicken, you know, which one came before the chicken or the egg, right? So down below, all right, we know that the vesica Piscean symbolizes the vaginal canal or the vaginal channel of the woman. But up above, we have the same area in the brain in which that also correlates to as below. So once again, not only is there as above in the sky external, but there's also as above internal and as below on earth, but also as below in earth. You get it? So it shows you the same connections here with this. And so this is the area, and guess what this area is called? It's called the fornax. Fornax, as in some would say for the male, the foreskin, all right, as below, but up above, it would be the greater, what's called the vestibular, or the Bartholian glands below. It also is on each side of the vaginal orifice. It's open into the vestibule at the orifices of the vagina, which is actually the area which is near, for men, it would be near the perineum. But for the woman, that area is what is said to at one time produce a substance, which is very, actually it still does, which is very similar to the semen itself, all right? What they don't tell you that this is the same area in the brain in which that also produce a whitish substance, which is the honey portion. You have the land of milk and honey within the Bible. Well, this milk portion is also produced within this area in the brain, all right? And so you get the book called Anatomy of Man by Manly P. Hall. He states that the entire system is a anatomical myth for the heavenly world of the ancients. The dome temple of the top of the mountain was the skull with its divine content. This is the home of the gods in man. It is turned up because it occupies the northern end of the human spine, right? The temple of the gods was ruled. The earth is said to be at the North Pole, which is also, by the way, is the home of Santa Claus, because the North Pole represents the positive end of the spinal column of the planetary lord, Santa Claus, coming down from the chimney through his sprigs of evergreen, i.e. the Christian or the Chakras or Christmas tree, at the season of the year when nature is dead, has a fine Masonic interpretation for this who study it. All right, so he's telling you that the head symbolizes the area in which that Santa Claus actually comes down from out the North Pole. So this symbolizes the North Pole. Santa Claus is here. And it's, Santa Claus is called calorosum, the calorosum, which actually is the covering area in the brain, which looks like what is called, yeah, go ahead, God.
Did I hear you say it's turned up?
Yeah, turned up.
Turned down for what?
Exactly. Turned down for what? Exactly. Yeah, it's turned up. Exactly. All right, so right here we have the Atlas, the first clerical vertebrate, and is named for Atlas in the Greek mythology. Everybody know about Atlas. He's the one who supposedly took the world and put on his shoulders. Yeah. All right, but really that shoulder part that he put on, that's called the world, is talking about the head itself, because the neck part right here at the back is symbolized what is holding up the world, which is your head, which is the Holy of Holies. All right, so that's what that symbolizes. All right, and that's the first vertebrae. All right, so right here in anatomy, the Atlas is the most superior first clerical vertebrate of the spine. It is named for the Atlas of Greek mythology, of Greek mythology.
Does that cover the medulla oblongata? Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
That's the area where the medulla oblongata reach right out from the spine, right at the back of the head area. Exactly. All right. And it's supported by the globe of the head. The Atlas chief, particularly, is the ring, the anterior and the posterior arch, and the lateral masses. The Atlas and axis are important neurologically because it's a brainstem and it stems down and it extends down to the axis. Hence, as above, so below. So right here we have the dings of axis right here. And this is the area right here where, of course, you're now able to move your neck left, right, back and forth, all right, and around. All that is based on this din of axis right here, all right? And this is called the Atlas, all right? No coincidence. So we know that that happened to be the 33rd vertebrae. That's when Jesus got crucified, all right? Jesus got crucified at the age of 33. Right. So this happened to be the 33rd vertebrae, and it's called the Atlas. The Atlas, all right? That's what it's called, the Atlas, all right? So in Greek mythology, Atlas was a titan. Remember the question was asked yesterday about the titans, and the titans came before the gods.
Yes.
Oh, there it is. It's telling you right here. In Greek mythology, Atlas was a titan, condemned to hold up the sky for eternity after the title Mashi. It says, although associated with various places, he became commonly identified with Atlas Mountains in Northwest Africa. Northwest Africa, which is what? Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, right? Tunisia. Oh, now think about that. That's deep. That is very, very deep right there, because Atlas goes back to Africa. Hence the African body, Afuraka, yes. The body, and how we was here before as the titans, before the gods, all right? And we become the gods, and where was the area at? Right in Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. Coincidence? I think not. So Francis Bacon, in his book, The New Atlantis, he features the pillar of Hercules as a gateway to the new world, hence the new mind. And according to the occult lore, Atlantis is the civilization from which all Hermetic knowledge emerged. The birthplace or the rebirth of this lost kingdom has been the dream of mystic schools for centuries. The lost city of Atlantis is the highest conscious state. And Atlas, check this out now, Atlas has 7 daughters, 7 islands. Hence are the 7 chakras. It is all mythical, mythological. You see that? So think about that. The 7 daughters of Atlas is talking about the 7 chakras in the body, or the 7 churches, or the 7 energy centers, melanin centers in the body, each endocrine gland, all right? Because we know that the spine controls each of the particular endocrine glands in the body, all right? Because there's a nerve that's attached to each of the endocrine glands and the organs in the body, all right? So that comes by way of being able to move your neck. You see, the Atlas. So as shown previously, Jesus is a metaphor for the breath of life, the holy breath, which within us and every one of us. All right, Prophet Noble Ali, Master Farah Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad, Father Allah, which Clan 13X, teaches us that Jesus is justice. Jesus is justice. Thus, not a man just from 2,000 years ago, but an allegory, meaning upright man or righteous man. Divine consciousness, and without the breath of life, word made flesh, there is no justice. So from the breath may come or cause man to be upright as statue. The breath of life does all of this. Just as the sword is also symbolized by the lower spinal cord or column, which is the area called the djid, all right, which is the backbone of Osiris, or the word jid. The jid means Jedi, which is lifesaver. Called the sacral bone and coccus tailbone region. All right, within the ancient Egyptians, they shows that thes or thestis or theset, and it means what? Knot, tie, all right, ligature, backbone, vertebrae, spine. So the ancient Egyptians already told us this, what this area was of the spine. In the terms of a knot, yet it is also means the backbone, vertebrae, spine is crucial or critical because of the following stages or usage regarding the nature and number of the knots. And guess what? There's 7 knots. There's 7 plexus in which that correlates to each of the endocrine glands. It says so right here, the Su, the 7 magical knots that protects a man. The 7 magical knots that's protected. So the endocrine glands, which creates hormonal balance in each and every one of us, protects, right? Protects us. You see that? So the 7, the Sus, or the 7 magical knots upon the spine that protects the individual. This is the Kanmu origin, of the Indo-Kushite Sanskrit derivative regarding the 7 chakras along the Sushumna, spine being akin to the knots of the bamboo rod. All right, remember, in the Bible it tells you that thy rod comfort me. Thy rod comfort me. Remember? So that's the rod right there. The bamboo rod, which is talking about your spinal column. That's the rod. All right, thy staff and thy rod, thou comfort me. That's the rod. All right. So moreover, the African move, right here, the Tamarian recognized that there are abosom or akan for deities called the 7 souls of Ra, or as we call them within the Yoruba tradition, we call them the Orishas, the 7 Orishas, or the 7 African powers. All right, within Vudan or the Akan, within Vudan, in Benin, we refer to them as the Lao or the Lao. The 7 Lao, all right? So all of this is telling you the same thing associated with the 7 knots. So the Zu, the 7th, that's what it is. The Zu, the 7th, which is the 7 gods, is associated or assistant of the judgment and condemnation of the wicked. So your chakras are supposed to condemn wickedness. The 7 abosom is called the 7 Desu. These abosom protects and assists the individual with overcoming bad judgment, disorder, and condemnation. All right, so right here, it even goes even further. It gives you a passage. It says one of the many recorded sexual references regarding the 7 Bazul or knots can also be found in chapter 71 of the Perhem Heru, which is misnomer in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, scribed over 3,600 years ago. And it says, "O you 7 knots, the arms of balance, on the night of the setting of the sacred eye, in order, who cut off heads, whose 7 necks," they go to necks. You see how that correlates? Whose 7 necks, right? Who take away hearts, who make a slaughter of the island of fire. I know you. I know your names. May you know me just as I know your names. If I reach you, may you reach me. If you live through me, may I live through you. May you make me flourish, which is in your hands, the staff, which is the spine, which is in your grasp. This is what we used to say. This is all part of the science, all right? So here it is showing you the 7, which is the plexus, these knots, which correlates to the 7 chakras, all right? So right here, it says, according to the PSI Fortune Club, Align Your Hearts. This is by Anal Ro. Talks about the Holy Quran, Surah 113. It informs us of witches blowing on knots, like a general practice of Islamic, basically Islamic witchery, is to make basically the talismans by threads and notes, and blow with blessings of words. Now you can't do it with the blessings of words, or curses of words, because even the word blessing means sacrifice, blood sacrifice. All right. So right here it says the axon of the dendrites of the neurons look like threads, and central part named neurosi looks like knots. All right. So neurosesti looks like knots. That's what it's saying. So this all correlates to the fact of Revelation 15 through 16. It speaks of the 7 angels with the 7 plagues. So if you are out of balance, then your endocrine glands can cause plagues in the body. So right here we see first in 15:1, or actually 15:15, it says, I saw the heaven, another great and marvelous sign, 7 angels with the 7 last plagues, because with them God's wrath is complete. And I saw what looks like a sea of glass glowing with fire and standing beside the sea. Those who have been victorious over the beast and the image and over the number of the names, they held harps given them by God and sang the song of God's servant Moses and of the Lamb. All right, the Lamb is the pineal gland. All right, and of course your song is talking about the songs in which that you use to align the 7 chakras. All right, Moses actually symbolizes an aspect of the mind in this particular case, in which that now we have since 1997, we had the 13th sign, which is called to come in, which Ophiuchus means basically serpent wrestling. So as you see, the serpent is around the waist and he's wrestling it. All right, and of course the waist symbolizes the area in which that the Kundalini area resides at, which is right here at the base of the spine, which symbolizes right around the belt area. So we see the same thing in the ancient Egypt. We see the serpent biting his tail and the god Heru in his form of Hippocrates. All right, Hippocrates, which means the child. All right, the child Heru. Seeing inside of the serpent biting his tail, which is Aurora Borealis, which symbolizes basically the auric field. Mm-hmm. And so we see it right here in Mayan, with symbolic to the Egyptians of man riding on the serpent to the stars, because the serpent to us symbolized immortality. So as we see here also is a man in Mayan traditions, which is Olmec traditions, also with the dragon, or as we recorded, the serpent or snake. All right, and of course we know the same thing is within Buddhism when the 7 cobras come up over top of the Buddha. All of that is symbolic to the activation of the 7 chakras. We have the caduceus. The constellation of Ophiuchus is the only sign of the zodiac which is linked to one physical living man. This man that lived in ancient Egypt around the 27th century BCE, or the 3rd dynastic period, and his name was Imhotep, who would be Enki. Many of the so-called attributes of Imhotep can also be found in the biblical Hebrew man named Jacob, Jacob's son, who is Joseph. And so Imhotep is credited with many accomplishments, and he's also been described as the father of medicine. It is said that Imhotep, that he brought the art of healing to humanity. The symbol of the serpent or the snake, which is still widely used today, represents the medical profession, which is used to represent Imhotep. Imhotep is also known as Ecliphius, as well as Mercury to the Greeks, and caduceus was also called the rod of Hermes, and Hermes was also called Thoth or Tahuti, all right, or Nekhesh Zidda, or Kukulkan, or Quetzalcoatl, all right, or Gutamaz, while departed Egypt and established the Yucatan civilizations, all right. All of that is talking about, once again, the Kundalini and its activation of these 7 knots, which are the 7 plexus of the 7 endocrine glands in the body. This is what this is all showing right here. All right, so it says the gross material level is composed of 7, what is called Dahatsu, all right, which is flesh, bone, clay, blood, fat, marrow, fluid, and the 5 elements: earth, air, water, fire, akasha, which is ether, the vast of space. The subtle level is composed of the vital life force, prana, mind is manas, intelligence is buddha, ego is adhamkara, and the feeling self is the chitta. Pisces is the means by which that the subtle and the gross of the human organism are connected. Basically, it says right here that it activates all of the systems of the body, including the nervous system, and it helps them work together as they should. Prana is distributed throughout the body by the nadis, which are the channels of energy. And there's 7 major chakras associated with the area of the body and the elements. Of course, within the ancient Sanskrit, you have the Muladhara chakras, which is the base of the spine and the elements of earth. You have the head, Hastana chakra, the genitals, and the element water. Right? And of course, the earth is Adam, the water is Noah, and the Manipura chakra, which is the navel, and the element fire, which symbolizes Abraham. You have the Adhata chakra, the heart, and the element of air, which is actually David. You have the Veshardha chakra, which is the throat, and the element Akasha, void of space, which is Moses. You have the Anja chakra, which is point between the eyebrows, and the Medata, the Tadava, which is a combination of essence of all the elements in its purest form, which symbolizes Jesus, because he was the light to the world. And then you have the Sahara Zadarara chakra, which is the crown of the head, transcending all elemental influences, including the Soma chakra associated with the above area, the third eye, or point between the third eyes, which correlates to Muhammad. Muhammad is the last seal of the prophets, as they say. So your chakra system correlates to the 7 major prophets in the Bible, as well as also in the Quran. All right. So you have Johari Haresh, who did his book called The Chakras, the energy centers of the transformation. All right. Harish says within us there's a transformation or transformers of energy vital to our physical well-being. In the East, they're called the chakras, wheels or vortexes, while in the West, they're called churches, places of assembly. These subtle, all right, transformers are intimately related with our psyche and our physical well-being, right? A chakra is merely a place where energy is moved from one place to another. There's many such places in the body, but in relationship with the spirituality and consciousness, there are fundamental areas illustrated here. Properly defined, when a chakra has been developed to a high degree, it is then called a church. So hence the reason why in the book of Revelations, they speak of the chakras as churches, the 7 churches. So the chakras is commonly and ordinarily people are only the sense of their animal soul, nephesh. These chakras are intimately related with the psyche, biological functions of the human organism. And the tattvas, which is the subtle vibrations, enter through the chakras and then into our endocrine glands. The endocrine glands then transform the tattvas into hormones. So the astral chakras are the gates of the power of fire. Then the 7 chakras are transformed to the 7 churches to which that the book of Revelations, which is Apocalypse, refers. Without the 3rd degree of the power of the fire, the chakras are just in sense, or just senses of animal soul, nephesh. Therefore, whomsoever is only concerned with the development of the chakras without working for their crucifixions, transform themselves into black magicians. This is what Samuel 1, where the 7 worlds speaks of. So think about it. That's deep. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not working towards crucifying or crucifixion, which is becoming Christ, then you just simply work in black magic. You just a black musician yourself. You're not mastering yourself. So by vocalizing these 7 tones or sounds with relaxation, concentration, and basically prayer, the chakras are nurtured. You know what I'm saying? You have to fulfill, you know, huh? Okay, so, all right, so, you know, basically right there, we're gonna come back a little bit later on. You know what I'm saying? We got to go. Twinkie getting ready to leave the building. All right, so y'all come on back now, you're here.